Recording in progress.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, guys. Welcome to May 18th pre-market session. Hope everyone is doing good. It's the starting of the week, and we're gonna start with the news, the events, and we'll go over the overall market and the tickers on watch. Okay, ready? It's holiday in Canada, but like the market is open, so we're trading, right? So let's start with some market news and updates. We had this like slight pullback and then bounce back up so far in the pre-market. In the overall market right now, market is overall cooling off after pulling back from recent highs, and leadership is in this whole movement was basically in tech and mega cap, and rising treasury yields are putting pressure on equities and reducing expectation for possible Fed rate cuts. And oil price just went higher. Oil price just went slightly higher and hit $145 again, and then it's just pulling back right now in the last couple of hours. But overall, the US-Iran conflict remain unresolved with uncertainty about the Strait of Hormuz, and that results in the oil price just still staying in this range of $100. And technically, this is the demand right now at this point on the technical side. And there is a report that Trump is waiting for a new proposal from Iranian mediators, and we'll see what happens. There is still uncertainty and unclarity about what will happen next. On the earnings side, we have a couple of earnings. Okay, we have one second. We have a couple of interesting earnings for this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the earnings that we have, because we have a couple of them. So today in the pre-market, we had Baidu, B-I-D-U, D-U, and Home Depot for tomorrow before the market opened, and NVDA also on Wednesday after hour. That would be, I guess, it. Walmart also had earning on Thursday in the pre-market, and that would be it for the day. So the main names I would be watching would be probably for today, maybe check out Baidu. Yeah, it just gapped up, and it used to be an interesting name to watch. Not anymore, but Baidu still looks pretty interesting if it can get above this 145 and maybe 152 level. Home Depot tomorrow. NVDA, which is the big one, and Target and Lowe's, all of these names will be reporting on Wednesday. Walmart, Zoom, these one would be on Thursday, and that would be pretty much it for the whole week's earnings. Definitely NVDA would be the biggest one, the biggest catalyst for the market, the biggest news for the market. The whole market is moving as a result of this whole like AI hype or like bubble or whatever you want to call it. But the market is really strong because of these names, and NVIDIA's earning will give a clear direction to the whole market. Economic calendar side, we have on the economic calendar side today, we didn't have any major red folder news or reports. Tomorrow we have housing starts and permits, which is not going to probably affect the tech names or the overall market. On Wednesday, we have FOMC minutes, the details of the last FOMC report or event. And Thursday, we have jobless claims, PMI. And Friday, we have consumer sentiment, which would be interesting for the whole market. SpaceX could reportedly file for an IPO as soon as Wednesday, which is going to be pretty interesting, right? Baidu reported earning. The earning was strong. I just showed you, and Delta Airline is moving higher after Berkshire Hathaway disclosed a new position on them. DAL, right? We are seeing some sort of a slight gap up here on DAL because of this catalyst and news. That would be it, I guess. That's it. The overall sentiment is basically waiting for NVDA earning and some sort of decision on Saint of Hormuz probably. But let's talk about the tickers. Let's start with the overall market. Let's start with SPY and see how the price action is right now. So this zone that I have it in green, which I will change it to red, is the same resistance zone that we had back in May 11th. After this push back up higher and breaking out of this 740 level, we hit 750, but then finally rejected that zone, and now we are basically below this zone and retesting this 740.41. Okay, this is a clear breakdown of this previous structure of like 740, 750, and pushing back down and retesting the zone. Yes, in the pre-market, we are seeing some sort of a strong move in the last couple of minutes, but overall, the market is looking still below this zone. Now, I would like to see SPY getting out of this 741 and especially this 743.4 level and hold around this zone and hold above this zone of 739, 740. Otherwise, this would be the key possible zone that I would be probably watching, right? This is the zone that we had hard time breaking out of. We held, we bounced, almost bounced, and this morning we bounced as well. Okay, so I want to see SPY out of this 742.3 for a possible bullish setup. On the other hand, if we reject it, this would be a great breakdown and rejection of this 740 level. That could be a good setup for a possible continuation to the downside. We'll see if it will happen or not. Obviously, the market is super bullish. Not going to blindly go short or just have a reversal idea here, but we'll watch the levels, okay? It's important to watch the levels, and this is the whole resistance zone that we the resistance zone that we rejected right around these areas. Seems like we're holding right around that zone. If we get out of this area, we push back up higher. That would be a continuation, obviously, on SPY. In case we reject, we push back down, especially below this 737 level. We can retest this 735, 734, and this demand zone. Okay, so keep that in mind. If we stay in this range, this would be a really tight zone for SPY possibly, because the price is technically stuck in a strong demand zone and basically short-term resistance that is trading right now, and it possibly makes the price be a little bit choppy at this zone. So be careful if the price is stuck in this range. I want to see it maybe below this, right around this 737. I'm just changing it for you guys to just have a clear understanding. Around this 737, and then for a rejection, we'll watch this zone. For a breakout, we'll watch this 742.3 as well. Qs. Pretty similar price action, right? push higher, a retest, and then bounce back up. And now we're right at this previous zone that we held, right? This demand zone that we technically held a couple of days ago on Qs, right? We held 706, 705, bounced above 705 another time, and now we're pushing back up all the way higher. So this 714.5, 715 on watch for Qs for a possible continuation on QQQ. Qs is leading a little bit compared to SPY, and for a possible pullback, if that wants to happen, I will be watching this 704, 705 on Qs. A little bit more clear price action compared to SPY, because it's overall leading and looking a lot more stronger. Okay. In between in this range, if it stays in this range of 715 and 705, I wouldn't be like in love with this price action. Okay, so I don't like to technically trade heavily when the price is like stuck in this range. Ideally, I want it out of this range. So yeah, that would be important to pay attention to. Okay. All right, so let's talk about maybe Dow Jones here as well, and then we'll go back to the tickers. Well, Dow Jones is pulling back down. Actually, it's pulling back down to the same zone that I mentioned that I would not be really happy or interested in trading it. So right around this 790 all the way up till 795, this zone would be possibly a really choppy zone for DIA Dow Jones. But if we could push all the way higher and hold above this 500-ish level, that would be interesting. It didn't happen yet, and we're pushing back down. Not a fan of this whole inside day price action on Dow Jones. Maybe if it get below this 493, we can have a push back down, maybe down till 490 and then 485, 486. But we'll see if that will happen or not, because we have to basically break below the moving averages, and we need to have some sort of catalyst for that. We'll see what happens. But if we get and reclaim back up above 500, that would be interesting to watch. Let's talk about a couple of tickers. Apple is technically holding pretty well. I like how Apple held above this 297.8 and pushing back up higher. Yesterday, Friday, we did actually break out of this 301 level, which was the all-time high at the time, but we had a hard time breaking it. Finally broke, and then basically sellers pushed the price back down. We'll see how we can reclaim this 301 zone. The next one obviously would be the all-time high, the new all-time high of 303. So the critical zone I would be watching on Apple would be 301, and also this 297 which is basically the moving averages and the previous demand zone that Apple held. The next critical demand zone would be this 295. Tesla pulled back heavily and pushed all the way back down to this 415.16. Now, this was the zone that I was interested in seeing Tesla, if you remember, a couple of days ago. And we'll see how it handles this zone, how it holds this zone, if it holds or not. But Tesla had this massive rally and then had hard time breaking through this 450 level. 450 was a massive resistance zone. And I mentioned we need to pull back to at least this 430, to this 420, to 415. Ideally, this whole 410, 415 demand zone, this would be an interesting demand zone that I would be watching Tesla. I would be interested in seeing Tesla around these areas and bounce back up. We'll see if it will happen or not. that's a different story. But so far, we retested this zone. And this is a very tough zone that we had hard time breaking out of. And we finally broke it. It was not really that easy with lots of rejections, and finally had a breakout, a beautiful retest here, and then boom, pushed all the way back up. We're doing it again. We are retesting this 415 again, and this, if it acts as a demand zone, and if we basically get out of this maybe 420 2-3 zone, right, we will be able to push all the way higher and have another continuation on Tesla. That would be one scenario. On the other hand, if we break out of this, especially 410-15 zone, if we get out of this zone and push back lower, we technically have to get below this 200 SMA on Tesla, and that would cause a really massive selling pressure. And we actually need some sort of reason for the price to get below this 200 SMA on Tesla. This is a massive, strong demand zone. So I would be interested in seeing some sort of bounce on this level on Tesla and go for a possible long. Okay, but Tesla is just around this 415. It can technically push all the way back down till 410, 409, and then bounce back up. Okay, I'm not saying it will happen right now. It will just start pushing higher right now when the market open, but it will, and it might technically consolidate here for a while and then continue pushing all the way higher if we don't have any major negative catalyst or news in the market. NVDA, it has earning on Wednesday, and since it has earning, I wouldn't be interested in trading it heavily, or at least, I mean, at all. Maybe depending on the price action, and I would be interested in just waiting for NVDA earning and then trade post-earning plays. Overall, it's just like holding in this range, obviously, and it bounced above 223. It rejected 235, and yeah, the price is just like stuck in this range overall. Okay, so we need to wait for NVDA for a possible either rejection of 231 or a break. If it does break, be careful. We had hard time getting out of this 234, 35 level. All right, so the major then the first resistance zone would be this 231. The major one would be the obvious all-time high, and the demand zone I would be watching would be this 223-ish zone on NVDA. Overall, I wouldn't suggest trading NVDA heavily because of its earning in 2 days. Yeah, Google is just like consolidating. I would be watching. I would be waiting for Google to maybe get out of this area, right? Or either break down or break out of this zone and have a clear price action. It didn't have clear price. It usually doesn't have clear price action at the breakouts or at all-time highs, but it has good price action technically. If you see the historical price action on Google recently, I mean, it has good price action when the price is bouncing above a critical level, like this price action on May 13th, right? So that might be interesting to watch. If Google starts pushing higher, that might give us some interesting opportunities. AMD pulled back to moving averages and it's bouncing back up. So the key zones definitely would be this obvious area of 433, and then the price slightly pushed back lower than this zone, so I would put it around this 420. So 420 and 433, 434 on watch on AMD. 433 and 4 on watch for a possible continuation on AMD and bouncing basically back up. So after this retest of moving averages, bouncing back up and pushing higher. If we get below this 420, that we're technically getting below this 9 EMA, and that will result in a massive selling pressure. Overall, the semiconductors, I would be waiting for NVIDIA's earning, because basically all of these names are waiting for NVIDIA's earning, because that will technically affect all of these other tickers as well. Nothing else on other names I Not seeing any major move, nothing crazy. Amazon MU might push all the way higher again, especially above this 778, 779 on watch. And Microsoft, there's nothing there. Meta, nothing there. It needs to get out of this range. And yeah, with that being said, I guess that's going to be it for today's price action. Let's talk about Intel. Good question. Let's go over Intel as well. So what happened here in Intel? We had the same pullback scenario on that we had on AMD. Price pushed back up higher, retested, pulled back above the moving averages or the moving average zone, and now we are actually holding a little bit stronger on Intel compared to other tickers, other semiconductor names. And definitely this zone of, where is my, definitely I would be watching this zone on Intel for a breakout. The demand would be at this like 107 obviously. If we get out of this 115, 116 zone, this would be an interesting setup on Intel for possible continuation. All right. Awesome. Thank you for watching. I'll be going ahead and trade live with the team. If you want to join us, make sure you check out the description below. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you can you don't miss basically the next live pre-market session. Thank you. Take care. See you in the next one.